What's up guys, it's Manga Time once again, and I'm here today to bring you my review of Bleach 575, The Killer's High. And I thought that there was a chapter title similar to this, but it's just The Revenger's High, which is nothing to do with Kenpachi. The Vizard. Anyway, if you remember at the end of the last chapter, Gremmy blocked Kenpachi's sword with this pillar, which Kenpachi has now just cut in half. Gremmy dodges it, but Kenpachi destroys half of the tower at the same time. However, we don't go to the fight straight away. We actually get to see one of my favourite Quincy, who we haven't seen in ages. Since most of my favourite Quincy are already dead, this guy, I suppose this guy technically is my favourite living Quincy now, and it's Stoner D, Askin Nakk le Vaar, who, if you remember, just decided he couldn't be bothered to fight Muri, so he walked off. And now we see him, and he's apparently watching Gremmy and Kenpachi's fight through his little binoculars, and he's like eating a picnic. See, this is why he's so great. He just doesn't give a shit. And he's like, he's like eating his picnic with his little pillow. And he's saying how it's impressive that Kenpachi's managing to fight on par with Gremmy. And he says, it's expected of the Zaraki Kenpachi. And then he says that he doesn't understand why Yuharvak would let Gremmy out into the wild. I think it's Gremmy he's talking about. It's kind of difficult to, to work out. He could be talking about Kenpachi, like why didn't His Majesty just stop him? But I think it's more likely he's talking about Gremmy. Then behind him, you hear, and this is really exciting, you hear geh geh geh, and that's the sinister laugh of, well, the guy who's been only known as the Geh 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 Quincy ever since we saw him in chapter 500. And we've literally been waiting to see this guy for so long. So this little interaction is a dream interaction for me, because Askin's awesome, and I've been waiting to see this guy for ages now. And you turn the page, and his design isn't quite what I was expecting, but at the same time, it sort of is. Like I was expecting him to be a little short, fat man. And that much is pretty much right. But he's like sitting in some little flying saucer, which is actually kind of cool. I like his design. He looks quite mystical. His beard is split into two prongs. I didn't see that coming. But he's got like the curved wizard boots, so it is 100% that guy. If anyone didn't think it was, in 500, it's definitely him. And he's got his big staff. I'm not sure I like the fact that his staff has got eyelashes. That's a bit weird. But anyway, he basically confirms what Askin was saying. He's like, things would have been better if the monster was locked up for all eternity, don't you think? And he starts laughing again. And he is definitely wearing sunglasses. We're wearing glasses of some kind anyway. I actually think it's really cool that he's floating in that little bowl. I wasn't expecting that at all. But anyway, Askin basically turns around and said that you're pretty much a monster yourself, Pepe. So this guy's called Pepe. We still don't get his letter or like a surname or anything like that, or his epithet. But then Pepe remarks that makes two of us. Now, this is interesting. While these guys are basically confirming how dangerous Gremmy is, it's storytelling logic that Gremmy isn't necessarily stronger than these two. The fact that Kubo's telling us that these two are monsters and yet they're just sitting around apparently doing nothing would indicate that they are stronger than Gremmy. Plus, both of these characters, Askin more so, but Pepe slightly as well, they've both had presence in the storyline before this. Pepe, if you don't remember, appeared in 500 when he took over the minds of everyone in 12th Division, had them fight against each other in the original invasion. And then he appeared again in 543 when Uri was becoming the successor. He was spying on Askin, Basby, and Hashwolf. But anyway, Askin gets up and Pepe's like, "You're going somewhere." And Askin basically says that I'm going to go because this isn't the place of idle chit-chat. And he doesn't want to get himself mixed up in Gremmy and Kenpachi's mess. So Pepe basically, I think he kind of looks through. I think he's like looking through his glasses, and he says, "We're not exactly safe even from this distance, are we?" And I don't know why, but there's a little heart after everything he says. It's kind of similar to Urahara. I'm not entirely certain what that means. Does that mean he is really happy, or he's like joking in the way he speaks? I'm not certain. But anyway, Askin says that I don't want to sound like I'm belittling Gremmy, but you can't do anything in this world just by daydreaming. But then he says, but when I saw him do the impossible just by daydreaming, I realised that the ones who can't do anything are the ones who live peacefully. Now, that's an interesting statement. What does Askin mean by when I saw him do the impossible? Clearly Gremmy's done something to impress the Sternritter at some point or the other. Unless he just means taking on Zaraki Kenpachi, but I shouldn't think so. Because Askin was impressed that Zaraki was taking on Gremmy, so Gremmy must have done something to impress the Sternritter at some point. And I think when Askin says that, you can't live peacefully, he's talking about himself. Because we've already seen when he broke up Basby and Hashworth that Askin's something of a mediator in the Sternritter. He seems to be pretty level-headed. But anyway, Gremmy, we then skip back to their fight. Gremmy gets up, Yachiru jumps down, and basically Kenpachi says that Isane's still alive, go down and get your arm fixed, so Yachiru leaves. So now the fight can really take off. Gremmy's like, I'm amazed that you worked out that my fantasies about the girl were interrupted. So basically Kenpachi's worked out, Gremmy's weakness. And now this is interesting, because Kenpachi's like, what do you want? Do you want to fight me or not? Because Gremmy's been messing around really so far. He hasn't really been trying to kill Kenpachi. He's like, what was it you called yourself? Aren't you the strongest, Quincy? And he's like, if you really are what you say you are, you should want to destroy the strongest one that's out there. And Kenpachi's like, let's get this fight started. And he's basically belittling Gremmy for getting distracted. Which is fair enough. So the fight starts in earnest. Kenpachi leaps at Gremmy, swings at him, and Gremmy brings up these huge curved pillars on either side of the building. And they're going basically for the kill. Kenpachi kind of blows them up in the centre. Now this is interesting though. We get an inner monologue as to Gremmy's thoughts, which I wasn't really expecting. But he's like, what was he saying just now? I wouldn't want to destroy the strongest that was out there. I've never thought such a fickle thing. We then get a tiny glimpse of a flashback, which honestly I can't make out. I can't make out. Now I wanna guess that it's the impossible thing that Askin said. Because Gremmy says there was never anyone who dared bear their fangs at me from the start. It looks like it's a couple of Sternritter's shoulders, possibly Hashwolf. I can't make out what's in front of Gremmy. What's in front of the Sternritters though. So on the manga stream version, it will hopefully be clearer. But anyway, Kenpachi kicks away the debris, and Gremmy's like, they knew deep down that I was the strongest. There wasn't a need for me to kill anyone as proof, and that's why I've never thought or had the urge to destroy someone. Which will kind of explain his demeanour, why his hands are still in his pockets, etc., etc. Then he gets this insane look on his face, and he's like, I want to destroy him badly now. And these so many guns appear next to him, which is a pretty awesome panel, actually. And they all fire off at Kenpachi, and then he fires missiles at Kenpachi, and there's a huge explosion. So now Gremmy's going in for the kill. Kenpachi cuts his missiles in half, however. Gremmy blocks the explosion with his hand, and Kenpachi's like, so you're finally using your hand now, are you? And there's this awesome panel, actually, of Kenpachi appearing through the smoke, and he's all battered and everything. And he's like, that's a great look you've got there. Gremmy looks absolutely insane. He looks like some lizard monster. His eyes are slits, and he's got a fanged mouth. But then finally Kenpachi lifts his blade and he says at last he's beginning to enjoy himself too. And that's the end of the chapter. Great chapter in my opinion actually this week. Obviously we got Askin and Pepe. More information on both of those is always wanted. Always welcome. More confirmation that Askin's just an awesome character. Like his picnic in the middle of the fight. But the Gremmy Kenpachi fight is finally heating up. It's nice to see that even Kubo didn't consider their fight to be starting yet. And now it's getting more interesting. There's a nice back and forth going on. Gremmy's really throwing out all the stops. But I imagine his time will be up pretty soon. Because next week we'll see either Kenpachi Shikai's name plus abilities, or a Bankai, or both. I'm still in the crew that Kenpachi getting a Bankai would be completely illogical, since he's only known his sword's name for about 3 days. 3 days max as well. But, you know, it's the sort of thing I can see Kubo doing. I can see him giving Kenpachi a Bankai, just for the sake of giving him a Bankai. But yeah, the fights are nice back and forth at the moment. Kenpachi's been injured, which is good. And apparently there's a colour page next week. And the only reason I can see us getting a colour page so soon after the last colour page, which was like 2 chapters ago, is to show off Kenpachi's power. So we're getting his sword name next week. Possibly getting a Bankai, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, his fight with Gremmy's probably going to be over pretty soon. As for Askin, like Gremmy could Volstendig, of course. And then Kenpachi Bankai's, you know, who knows? I give the fight 3 chapters left tops. As for it goes from there, I don't really know. We're coming up to the 100 chapter mark of this arc. 580 is the 100 chapter mark. I don't know. You think it would be day 3 pretty soon, because we've had Asnot's fight and now Gremmy's fight, and then that's quite a lot of fighting for day 2, because both those fights lasted quite a while. But obviously, yeah, we've got Askin and Pepe now on the loose. So whether they'll get into a fight straight away, I don't really know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Like Pepe's letter, I still haven't got a clue. He could be M, the mind. He could be C, the control. I honestly think they're probably the only 2 he's going to be. But yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. But overall, I was really happy with this chapter. Seeing Askin and Pepe, like I said, was great. And the Kenpachi Gremmy fight's actually getting pretty good now. So I'm going to drop a 9 on this chapter. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Did you like this chapter? What do you think of Askin and Pepe? What do you think of Gremmy and Kenpachi's fight now? What are you hoping to see, though, from Kenpachi's sword? That's what I want to know from you guys. What are you hoping to see from Kenpachi's sword? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. And give the video a thumbs up. That'd be great. But, guys, that's it from me this week. Until next time, I will see you later. See ya.